G'day OWFsquad, welcome back to another Thursday trip report. I'm at Brisbane Domestic Terminal and today I'm going to fly Qantas 737 from Brisbane to Cairns, also in Queensland.
The next station is the Brisbane Domestic Airport. This train terminates at the Brisbane Domestic Airport. All customers please exit the train on arrival at the Brisbane Domestic Airport.
That could be my thumbnail soon.
Customers.
So we just made it to the airport. Brisbane Airport has two train stops. The first one will be the international terminal and the second one will be the domestic terminal. Unsurprisingly, no one on the train got off at the international terminal. Everybody alighted at the domestic stop. I'm now at a Qantas check-in area. Usually business customers and gold and platinum members will have access to the premium lounge entry, but because of the virus, it's currently closed. Despite that, after you check in and go through security, you can still go into the lounge. Normally you're allowed to bring in one guest with you, and the guest doesn't have to be flying. But now again, because of the virus, that guest has to be on the same flight as you are, and both boarding passes will be scanned. The first thing I noticed in the lounge is that the shower is not available. The lounge is quite quiet on one side, but on the other side where all the food and drinks are, it's quite crowded. There are signs throughout the lounge to remind people to physically distance themselves between each other. The most noticeable change here is that they've closed down the buffet. Instead, you can head to the pizza station where they will display some food there and you can point at what you want, including nachos. The staff will then hand it to you. You're not allowed to touch them, and you're again reminded to social distance when you wait for the food and also distance yourself with the food as well. I am super delighted to know that alcohol is still available. At the bar, I got myself a glass of sparkling wine and also a glass of sparkling water. And here's all the food my friend and I got. This is the nachos with sour cream, cauliflower chickpea salad, and fruit salad. Ching ching! Jesus Christ, I look so pale here after 3-4 months of staying at home. Last but not least, the lounge also offers an amazing tarmac view over the domestic terminal. Here we are at the gate. This is our Qantas Boeing 737-800 to Cairns. It's 18 years old, Victor Hotel, Victor X-Ray Alpha. It's Qantas' first ever 737-800. Originally this aircraft was going to American Airlines, but due to 9/11, American Airlines didn't take it.
Hi.
Thank you. When you board the aircraft, you can grab free wipes and masks from that white container. Usually in that container you'll find headphones, but due to the virus, you don't get them.
And one World Cricket Fire Bomb Inflight to Cairns. Please place any larger bags in the overhead lockers, smaller bags under the seat in front of you, and handheld devices in the seat pocket. If you're seated in rows 1, 13 and 14, please place all baggage in the overhead lockers for both takeoff and landing. If you are unable to stow your bags, please bring them forward so they can be checked in. Please make sure you are in your allocated seat with your seatbelt firmly fastened, your seat back upright and tray table locked in. Please remain in your allocated.
I'll now show you the seat features. So you've got a tablet holder and a teeny tiny little cockhook tray table. It's not foldable, but you can move it back and forth. You get a seat pocket. The leg room is 30 inches, which is okay for this short haul flight up to Cairns. Under there you'll find USB ports. You also got a headrest, you can move it up and down and fold it on the sides. This is a flywheel pack which you can grab at the gate in the white container. So inside you'll find one mask and also 2 hand sanitizers.
Make your life jackets after you leave the aircraft. If oxygen is required, a mask will drop from above and tighten the strap. Oxygen will flow without the bag inflation. Fit your own mask first and then help others.
Smoking isn't allowed on Qantas flights anymore. Your aircraft is fitted with smoke detectors.
It's a really long taxi today, so it appears to me that today we're using the new Brisbane Airport runway, 19 right. The runway opened on the 12th of July 2020, so literally we're using it on the 9th day of operation, which is something to remember. Now enjoy the takeoff. from Brisbane Airport near runway. So the runway that is closer to us, that's a new runway. Now we've taken off, I'll show you the entertainment. There's no official entertainment, no drop-down TV, no personal TV, no magazines, no Wi-Fi. Just a safety card and the view outside. Soon after takeoff, the cabin crew begin their service. In business class, you'll receive a full meal and a selection of alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, but in economy class, you'll only receive a pack of snacks and a bottle of water. Before the pandemic, in economy class, you'll have a range of drinks to choose, and also 2 choices for the meal you get, usually one hot and one cold. So that's the tiny bottle of water and crackers. It's one of the worst dry snacks I've ever had, and it's an unpleasant meal on board. Now to something more pleasant to some people, we're going through some really rough turbulence, and the whole flight to Cairns, it's really turbulent. Most passengers on this flight are sleeping, including myself in a few seconds.
Could you please return to your seat? Ensure that all hand luggage is restowed either underneath the seats in front of you or in the overhead lockers. All berths and tray tables should be stowed, seat backs upright, all window blinds fully opened, and for your own safety, would you please fasten your seatbelts?
The crew are now doing their final cabin check, and I'll quickly conclude the trip report right here, right now. So you may have noticed that I've used some caption in this video to note down differences between this flight and the flights I've had before the pandemic. So there are 9 of them, most of them have to do with the airport experience. The major changes on board is that there are limited entertainment and food. And now I'll go through my experience with Qantas from the lounge. As a Gold member, I usually only have access to the Qantas Club, but now because not many people are flying, they've only opened up the business lounge, so they let us in as well, which I see as a fantastic upgrade. I noticed that Brisbane Airport lounge team are more lenient than the Adelaide team when it comes to making sure everyone is social distancing and other rules that they came out with because of the virus. I also noticed that it's not just a lounge, it's Queensland as a whole, they take it differently to South Australia. Despite all the changes, the lounge is amazing. There's no shower, however, the food offering was good and the sparkling wine was really good. The service provided by the lounge staff was also top notch, especially the bartender, he was a really nice guy. Now when you get on the plane, you can grab a free Flywell pack which consists of face mask and also 2 hand sanitizers. I see this as a very nice gesture from Qantas, because mask is not even mandatory on board, but then you've also got airlines outside of Australia, they make mask mandatory and you must bring your own, they don't provide it on board. And for your information, on this interstate flight, only about 15% of the passengers are wearing face masks, and about half of the crew were wearing them. The seat was okay for this short 2-hour flight to Cairns. The recline was really generous, a lot of people on this short flight reclined their seat to sleep. Also, I really appreciate the headrest, a lot of airlines don't provide them on short flights. It made sleeping during the day a lot easier. This aircraft has Wi-Fi on board, but it was not turned on for this flight. Also for other entertainment, there's no TV, there's no magazine, so it's bring your own. And fortunately, if you do have your own device, everybody will have 2 USB ports. So if you have a charger, you don't have to worry about running out of battery. For the food and drinks, it's a bit sad. The water is okay, I like them, but then the crackers were really average. I'm totally fine with Qantas for just serving some snacks, but then it better be nice, like not a weird flavoured crackers. For the cabin crew on board, they were okay. The flight was full, so there weren't much personalised service, but they tick all the boxes. Finally, for your information, it will cost you about 200 Aussie dollars to fly one way from Brisbane to Cairns with Qantas. Now some of you might be interested in this in terms of the arrival at Cairns. Although this is a interstate flight, so we're flying just within Queensland, somehow the border force or the police still required us to apply for the Queensland declaration form. I guess that's to make sure that we didn't transit at Brisbane Airport from hotspots like Victoria and New South Wales. Once the aircraft came to a complete stop at the gate, a police got on board and asked everyone to remain seated. Then they got everybody to disembark slowly, row by row. I was sitting at the back 28F, so this took quite a while, perhaps 10 minutes longer than usual. Then when I entered the terminal, they were questioning people one by one. We all had to show the police our Queensland declaration form and also my passport. For Australians, you just have to show them your driver's license. So the police asked me where I came from today. I said Adelaide, and he also asked me if I've been to any of the hotspots like Victoria. I said no, and then I was let go. So that's it for the conclusion today. I hope that you enjoyed this video and appreciate that little information at the end. And remember, at the end of the video, after the landing bit, you'll find the Q&A. See you there.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cairns with the local time. It's just coming up to 4:10. Today we'll be departing through the forward left-hand side door. Just a reminder, carry-on baggage may have moved you in the overhead lockers during our flight and could fall out. So please take care and don't forget to check your seat and seat pocket for any personal items. Thank you for supporting our Flywell initiative on your flight today. Remember to take any masks or wipes, whether you use or unused disembarking. Please maintain an appropriate distance between yourself and other customers while you disembark today and throughout the terminal, including the baggage claim areas. On behalf of us all here at Qantas and One World, thank you for choosing to fly with us today.
Couple of minutes, please. As you're aware, we are screening everybody who comes into Queensland and also Queensland residents as you come into our terminal. If everyone could please have photographic identification, particularly in the form of a driver's licence is best for us, and anyone who's come from interstate, if we could have a copy of your pass ready for presentation. We also require you to declare to us if you've had contact with someone who tested positive for coronavirus within the last 2 weeks, or whether you've been overseas or to a coronavirus hotspot within the last 14 days. Thanks for your attention, and please be patient. We'll get you through as quickly as we can. Thank you.
Hello there, welcome back to Q&A. Today I've got 3 questions, and let's begin with my patron Thomas TP. What's your Chinese name? That's a really interesting question that nobody's ever asked me before. I'm going to write it down right here. So in Chinese, we always say the last name first. My last name is Wong. And then you say the first name last. There you go. That's Wong. Wong Pak Guan. That's my Chinese Cantonese name, Wong Pak Guan. And then the third question from, let's do this one, JTQFP.aviation. Are you going to try first class soon? I was going to try first class in July from Dallas to Hong Kong with American Airlines first class. The reason I booked American is because it was so cheap if you paid cash. I paid less than $2,000 for that one-way 17-hour flight from Dallas Fort Worth to Hong Kong, but unfortunately I had to cancel because of. Final question from, let's do Kentos. I've got a question maybe for your next Q&A. Do you prefer to sit on the left-hand side or the right side of the plane? I don't think I have a preference, but for filming I think it's easier somehow if I sit on the right-hand side of the plane. But usually I pick my seat depends on the sunrise and the sunset, where the sun's going to be, and also the skyline of the city, whether I'll get the view on the right hand side or the left hand side. So that's it for the Q&A. I hope you enjoyed the Qantas trip report and also this Q&A, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Boston. For your safety, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened and your cabin baggage stowed until the seatbelt sign has been turned off.